Hello everyone, Rannie Au GoGo here, and this is my course Magick Au GoGo for Magic and Spiritual Transformation. So today we're going to be talking about empaths. Spiritually sensitive people, you know, my peeps, my homies. Basically, if you don't know what an empath is in a nutshell someone who is psychically sensitive. Empaths have this magical ability to be able to detect and process the energies of people, places, spirits. They have this uncanny ability to be able to sense and feel what other people and animals are feeling and thinking. So this is an amazing gift, but as an empath, it can become a burden if you do not learn how to strengthen, protect, and empower yourself. That is the main key of living as an empath. I see a lot of posts and memes that really make empaths look like fucking weaklings, like almost to the point where it's a disability. And I'm here to tell you that just simply isn't true. If you're an empath and you're still living in fear and anxiety, I'm here to tell you that there's hope. You can heal yourself. You, of all people, have the ability to heal yourself and others. That is the superpower of an empath. And this takes time, it takes dedication, and it takes really getting to know yourself to be able to become empowered. But once you do, oh my God, your life is going to change for the better. So first I'm going to talk a little bit more about being an empath, and then I'm going to get into ways that you can strengthen yourself and work with your gifts. So when I say that empaths are sensitive, I do not mean that they are weak. When I say sensitive, I mean they have a very strong ability to sense. They have the ability to sense energies around them. They can sense danger before it's coming. Being an empath is basically like being Jean Grey from the X-Men. And we all know how fucking powerful that woman was. So if you're not sure if you're an empath or not, I mean, you can go on Google and look up one of those like, am I an empath tests? Because I'm not here to tell you whether you're an empath or not. I will say that since 2020, most people have become a lot more sensitive, like able to sense energies. So even if you don't think you're an empath, you still might be able to benefit from this video because most people are becoming a lot more sensitive to energies. And this class will show you how to work with yourself. If you're an empath, you do have the ability to sense other people's energies. You know, you're a bright light, and low vibrational people, they're like little fucking moths. They'll see your light and all that shit. That used to really annoy and terrify me. But now that I've become empowered, I realize that I don't have to take on everyone's energies. I literally am able to not only protect myself and set boundaries, but I have this great ability to shift the energies of a space when I go out. This is something that takes time again, but I believe that as an empath, once you start working with your spirit team, source, the universal energies, that you will have the same abilities that I have. And it's pretty fucking dope. It's like great to like not have to preemptively worry about going out. You know, I would always set myself up like, oh man, I'm gonna be really exhausted after this. You know what? Now that I've become empowered, I really don't worry about that shit anymore. So yeah, as an empath, you can sense other people's energies, but you don't have to absorb that shit. You don't have to take that shit on. You don't have to be afraid of it or, you know, worry that people's shit is going to get you. You basically have to become this light. You always have been a light, but I just like smacked a bug. Sorry, bug. So yes, empaths are usually this light, and as a light, you can attract lower vibrational energies, but you can also attract good energies too. So I don't want you to be under the impression that as an empath, like you're just going to be attracting all this bullshit, because you have the ability to say no to that shit. You have that ability. It was a really crazy moment in my life with spirit once they told me to just turn it off. This is a long story. Maybe I won't get into it, but basically source energy talked to me and told me that I can turn off anything that's bothering me. I can turn that shit off. I can shut that shit down immediately. Once I did that, I was a changed person. It was like, oh, I can stop the stuff. As an empath, here are some things that can really benefit your life. The first thing is meditation. I know I probably sound like a broken record, but meditation is everything. I meditate every day, every morning before I start my day. I meditate for at least 30 minutes a day. I realize if I don't meditate, I do feel affected. I feel a little crabby and all that bullshit. So try meditating for at least 30 minutes a day, and it can be any kind of meditation, you know. Go on YouTube, look up guided meditations. You can do one of my guided journeys, or you can just listen to solfeggio frequencies. I mean, you could even meditate to funk, meditate to some like good old funk. That's some real shit right there. Have fun with your meditations. It doesn't have to be a chore. Meditating is like working out. It's not that easy for many people the first few times, but the more you work at it, the better you get. It's like working out your mind muscles. So get into it. Meditation is super important for empath. Like I said before, be mindful of the food and the drinks and the substances that you consume. You don't have to be a saint, but, you know, realize what fucks you up and try not to fuck yourself up too much, you know? Live your life with balance, my friends. Empaths tend to carry physical sensitivities, and that's like sensitivities to certain foods, certain allergies. Basically, their bodies just kind of know what's not good for people, you know? So it might suck to kind of have like food sensitivities and things like that, but you know, it's almost like an expensive car. It drives really great, but you're gonna have to take more care of it. You're gonna have to give it like that premium oil and all that shit. Basically, you just gotta get used to it. You gotta learn what your body can handle, because you really just want your body to be in tip-top shape. As an empath, it's really important to learn what affects you, and this takes time. I don't eat meat anymore. Before I had my spiritual awakening, I didn't realize that consuming meat was affecting me negatively. But actually, when you think about the energetic traumas that are in most of the factory farmed meat here in America, it makes a lot of sense. It would be something that I should just stay away from. And I'm not saying if you're an empath, you have to stop eating meat, but I would say give it a try. If you're super sensitive and you're eating the traumas of like abused animals, I don't know, maybe that's something that would be fucking you up. So try it. Don't eat meat for like 2 weeks and see if that has changed the way you feel. It's not worth it for me to eat a bunch of bullshit that really affects me spiritually and physically. Also, again, I talked about alcohol. If you're an empath and you like drinking, that's fine. But like, I'm going to say that there was a time as an empath that I felt like I was pretty helpless, like I was weak, as if like I felt like I needed to drink before I would go to a party so I can numb myself and not feel everyone's energies. I want to tell you that if you're an empath, alcohol probably is one of the worst things that you can partake in. I'm not saying not to drink, but I'm saying if you're an empath, it lowers your vibration, so it makes you more susceptible to other people's low vibrational bullshit. You know, you'll end up going to that fucking party and, just like me, getting stuck with a lot of psychic vampires who are like basically unloading all their bullshit on me. If you're drinking to like make yourself feel better regularly, or if you're thinking that alcohol is numbing the bullshit, it really isn't. It's making you more susceptible to the bullshit. So try not to drink and see how that makes you feel. Like, you're gonna have to experiment with yourself and see if there are certain things that are making you feel sensitive. You gotta weigh it. You weigh your options. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to feel like shit? Sometimes it is, you know, sometimes you want to be naughty. As an empath, you just basically want to be mindful of what you consume and see how it affects you. And when I say what you consume, I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about like, what do you expose yourself to through media, the music that you listen to. Be mindful of what affects you and limit that shit. Unless you're a glutton for punishment, you don't constantly have to feed yourself negative shit, especially when you're highly sensitive. If you're an empath and you feel like depressed or anxious, what are you watching? Are you like doom scrolling on the internet? Are you exposing yourself to things that might be upsetting your mood? You gotta curate your life as an empath. Again, I'm not saying as an empath you're fucking weak and that you can't enjoy life. I'm just saying like some bullshit doesn't have to be in your life, and you really gotta just try not to interact with things that affect you negatively. Try to cut out the bullshit. You were born sensitive for a reason, and that reason isn't to constantly have your ass kicked every fucking day. So take note of what's kicking your ass and kick that shit out of your life. Like, if you know something's kicking your ass, then why do you... Hey, maybe you like that shit. I don't know. Some people like that shit. I also want to note that it's important for you to be mindful of what you consume, but it's also really important the relationship that you have with what you consume. Let me explain. So, like I said, it's best to try to avoid things that your body is sensitive to, but at the same time, I like to eat chocolate cake or get naughty or eat naughty foods, and before I eat those foods, I don't preemptively curse that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people who, like, before they go out drinking, they're like, oh, I'm gonna be a piece of shit tonight. I'm gonna be a garbage person because I drink so much. And it's like, right off the bat, they have this really negative relationship with what they're about to consume. So, I mean, if you're an empath and you still want to drink, don't be like, oh, this alcohol is going to make me feel like shit. Anything that you consume, you shouldn't have a shit relationship with it, especially before you put it in your body, because you're cursing your food. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but like I've mentioned in previous videos, before you consume something, you really want to infuse that with love and gratitude. So if you're going to eat some fucking chocolate cake, be thankful for the chocolate cake. Really love that chocolate cake and get down on that chocolate cake. Don't be like, oh, this is going to make me fat. I know I'm not going to feel good after eating this. That is like the last thing you want to do. You don't want to have a shitty relationship with what you're going to consume. A lot of people do this. It always feels off to me. If you're going to cheat, have a cheat day. But don't make that cheat day seem naughty in a bad way. Make it seem naughty in a good way. Like, this is going to be good for my soul, because it's good to get naughty sometimes. You don't have to shame your food before you put it in your body. That's some negative ass bullshit that you just don't need that kind of shit in your life. If you always keep in mind, intention, what is your intention when you're going to consume something? I think that would be a better way to have a relationship with your food or your drink or your smokes. You know what I mean? Like, I know people who are gonna smoke and then they're like, oh, this is killing me. I know this is killing me. And it's like, maybe it's killing you more because you're hating on it so much, dude. Like, how about you change your relationship with your smokes as well? And just be like, every now and then I'm gonna smoke this and it's gonna make me feel good. Basically, everything carries an energy. And before you're gonna put something in your body, you don't wanna infuse it with more negative fucking bullshit just because you don't think it's good for you. If you think about anything that you put in your body as negative, you need to shift your relationship with that food. You need to think about that food or that drink a little bit differently. So I've mentioned this before, but again, I want to stress the importance of being able to clear space wherever the fuck you are. I clear my space and myself daily at the end of every day, but you can do it if you are anywhere, basically. You call upon source energy or whatever you want to call it. You call on spirit, your spirit team, your spirit guides, and you can clear your energies wherever you are. Doing regular clearings and cleansings, You could do that with smoke. You could do that through invocation, speaking your intentions. You can do that with spiritual baths. It's just good to clear space and know when to clear space. If you're super sensitive, you gotta keep your shit clean, man. Clear yourself in your bedroom before you go to bed and you'll sleep better. Another thing that can really benefit you as an empath, and I know it's changed my life, is working with your spirit teams, y'all, like your spirit guides, your healed ancestors, patron deities, source energy. You have a whole fucking team, a gangster ass team of spirit that you could be working with, spirit animals as well. Find your team and work with them. That will help you. Also, like spirit guides and patron deities, you don't necessarily need them to be strong, but they are wonderful teachers. Deity has basically taught me how to work with energies. You know, I didn't learn this from a person. I learned all of this stuff through my patron deities and my spirit guides, and I am eternally grateful for this empowerment. I'm teaching these classes through the guidance of spirit. I'm teaching these classes and I'm doing these fantastic healings on people through the work of spirit. I truly honor and value my relationship with my spirit team and my patron deities and source. Get into it, man. You gotta love your spirit team, and once you start working with spirit as an empath, your life will completely change for the better. You just can't be afraid of that shit. Another thing that is super important as an empath is knowing that you don't have to live in victimhood based on your past. And I understand that as an empath, past terrible situations really affected you because you feel things a lot more than other people may feel them. But at the same time, you know, if you still feel like you're a victim, then you have some wounds that you have to heal. So it's okay to acknowledge when you were a victim or if you are a victim, but you don't have to live in victimhood. You can heal yourself and become empowered. There are no situations that you do not have the power to heal yourself from. And that takes time, that takes work. It might take working with another healer to help you move those energies, but you don't have to be stuck in victimhood. No one wants to stay there. You know, sometimes people end up staying in victimhood because they feel like they're safe there, but it's not a safe place to stay. It's not a healthy place to stay. So it's best if you learn to shift your perspective and move from a disempowered place to an empowered place. Again, being an empath is a superpower. So, you know, whatever you have suffered through in the past, you have the power to heal from that. Also, it's important as an empath to know that you have the power to absorb energies, but it is at your own will. I used to think that when I went out, I would have to absorb people's energies, but that was before I learned how to set up, you know, psychic barriers and boundaries and all that good shit. As an empath, sometimes you can feel the pain, the physical pain of others. And again, that might seem like a curse, but as a practitioner, someone who does what I do, I can tap into the way someone's feeling, and then I can direct source energy to those areas to bring healing upon that person. So again, you don't have to always feel people's pains. That seems like living in nightmare land. You definitely want to empower yourself and realize you don't have to always live in a space of constantly feeling if you don't have to. But you do have these gifts for a reason. So stop thinking that you're an energy sponge with no protection, because you have allies, you have spirit allies, you have yourself, you have your words and your intentions, and the boundaries that you set are way more powerful than any other low vibrational bullshit that might be bombarding you or you think might bombard you. So just know that you're actually a lot more powerful than you ever thought you were. Also, again, realize that your sensitivity does not equate to fragility. You are not fragile just because you are sensitive. You just have to learn how to work with your gifts. These classes can help you with that because, I'm going to teach you how to spiritually transform and tap into your own magic. Another thing, stop expecting the worst and living in fear. You don't have to live that way. Just know that you are powerful, that your intentions are powerful, that your relationship with spirit is more powerful than any other bullshit. You got me? As an empath, sometimes you might go out feeling like you're going to end up being affected by low vibrational energies in a negative way, not realizing that you have the power to raise the vibration of spaces with your own energy without harming yourself. That's one of the key game changers as an empath. Stop thinking that you're weak, because you're not. If you're about to go see your shitty auntie, you shouldn't be thinking, oh my God, this is gonna suck. She's really going to affect my mood. She's really gonna, piss me off. She's gonna say the wrong thing. You can prepare yourself for her to probably say something shitty, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she has the power to affect you. Your shitty auntie basically has low vibrations, and you don't have to be affected by that shit. As an empath, you don't have to be affected by low vibrational energies. What I would suggest is to shift your perspective. So instead of thinking your shitty auntie is going to make you need to have extra therapy next week, basically before you see your shitty auntie, just have the intention of having the best possible interaction with her. Basically just psychically protect yourself, shine your light even brighter, and anticipate the best possible interaction with your shitty auntie. So instead of going into a situation afraid and stressed out before you're even in the situation, you're more prepared. Call on your guides, guardians, ancestors to just bring about the best possible outcome. You don't have to anticipate things being shitty. And sometimes things are shitty for a reason. Sometimes people need to learn lessons, and sometimes, like, to me, once I started shifting my perspective, calling on my guides and guardians, and realizing that I can shift the energies of a room, I rarely ever get into the old situations and negative patterns that I used to be stuck in, because I realize that I have the power to protect myself and to shift the energies of a space and a situation. And I'm not saying it's your job to change people or fix people. I'm just saying you have the power to protect yourself from any lower vibrational bullshit that might be trying to come at you. And all of this comes from becoming more empowered. And I'm telling you, once you become more empowered as an empath, you will start walking through life without fear. You will start seeing things with more clarity, more compassion, and you basically it's like you're bulletproof, man. I basically walk through life with trust, and I have zero anxiety and zero fear. Like, even if I anticipate something's going to be a little sticky, I never feel like there's a situation that is not manageable. Ever since I started working with spirit, I started realizing that I can shift the energies of a space or situation with love, clarity, and compassion. I'm not saying that you can change everyone, but you can definitely change the way that you are affected by other people's energies. Again, set those healthy ass boundaries with people, with places, with spirits. You gotta set boundaries. You state those boundaries, and you don't allow the bullshit to fuck with you. As an empath, you definitely have the ability to just psychically block the bullshit. If you ain't having it, if you're not in the fucking mood, you don't have to be absorbing people's energies. You are not that weak. Let me say it again. You are not that weak. You just have to learn how to set psychic boundaries. And setting a psychic boundary is as simple as saying it. Stating the intention. I'm not open to these energies right now. These are energies that I'm not allowing into my field right now. As an empath, it's a gift to be able to tap into those energies, but if you don't realize that you can shut those energies off or, block them or clear them, then you're going to end up feeling like you're this weak little fucking thing, when that's not the case. You're actually put on this earth to be able to shift energies. As an empath, sometimes you feel like you want to help so many people, and you give your energy freely You gotta learn how to set boundaries and strengthen yourself. Give yourself time to reset and regenerate. Take care of yourself. You are very important, so set those boundaries. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say later. It's very important for you to acknowledge that the best time for you to help others is when your personal cup is full. Basically, just set those boundaries and adhere to those boundaries, and you will become a lot more stronger as a person, as an empowered empath. And that leads me to having at least one day off. You got to regenerate. Everyone, I don't care if you're an empath or not, everyone should have at least one day off per week, because it's important to have a day of rest. Being busy isn't always great. Some people just don't even know how to relax. And I used to be one of those people. I started taking my Sundays off, and I realized that it's really important for me to just have a day where I don't do anything. And I think that if you can, try to have one day off. That one day, you just take care of yourself. That's got to be your me time or your you time. Another important way to strengthen yourself as an empath is to actually nourish your creativity. Being creative helps heal your heart and your sacral areas, which are areas that usually become blocked if you're an empath. You know, somewhere along the line, your sacral areas and your heart becomes blocked. So when you draw or take some time to paint or do some arts and crafts, or, you know, doing something that's just fun and creative, it'll really help heal and open your heart and your sacral areas so that you can become a more empowered empath. As an empath, you can also really benefit from working with a healer. Working with a healer that knows how to heal traumas and blockages around your heart or any other energy centers that may have become blocked as you try to protect yourself as an empath. Working with a healer, intuitive healer, or even a therapist can help you with that. I personally do healings and clearings, and I'll be doing more journeys for healing and clearing yourself as an empath. So check those videos out, but also it's good to do one-on-ones with a healer. As an empath, there are some things that you're probably going to have to face when it comes to healing yourself. This is a process. This will take time, but once you really start working on healing yourself as opposed to trying to heal others when you're not completely healed, your life is going to completely change. I really want to encourage you to dive deep into your healing process, because that's the most important part of being an empath, learning how to heal yourself. And that can be through shadow work, doing inner child work. You really got to heal the parts that you tend to want to ignore, because empaths, the last thing an empath wants to do is work on their self. Many empaths tend to shy away from doing their own work because they feel like it might be too painful. But the thing is, if you don't work on clearing yourself and healing yourself, it's not going to just go away. You have to work on healing yourself, and that's when you'll become truly empowered. You can buy all the crystals in the fucking world and buy all the fucking clearing herbs and plants in the world, but if you don't work on healing yourself, then all that shit's going to be pretty much useless. As an empath, if you want to become empowered, you gotta do the fucking work. And that work is going to be uncomfortable. That work is going to be scary. But doing that work is truly worth it, because you're gonna have a fucking superpower, y'all. Like, get into it. Heal yourself. Something else many empaths need to learn is how to feel their own feelings. Some empaths might not have this problem, but I know I personally did. I constantly distracted myself from feeling my own feelings. You know, I was always helping other people. I always kept my feelings to myself. It was a way of protecting myself in the past. I was very aloof and very hardened my whole life. And then I realized I had to start feeling the feelings, because as an empath, you start healing yourself. You clear the blockages from your heart gets bigger, and you start feeling shit more. And that's important, because you're not allowing healthy flow within your system if you have all these fucking blockages, if you're blocking your own feelings. So as an empath, you know, stop focusing on everyone else's shit if you got your own shit that you got to work on. You got to tear down those walls that you built, clear those blockages, tend to those wounds, because once you tend to your own wounds, you will truly become more empowered. And that's how you find your superpowers as an empath, is by healing yourself. As an empath, you can work with crystals as well, crystals for protection and strengthening yourself. I do want to note that, protective stones and crystals are really great allies as an empath, but you don't necessarily need them once you become more empowered. But in the beginning, when you're doing a lot of your shadow work and a lot of your deep healing, crystal allies aren't a bad idea, because they really do help add a little extra layer of protection to your field. Some of my favorite stones for empaths are azurine, which is super protective. Shungite is another great one. Shungite helps filter negative energies from a space. Black tourmaline is another great, super easy to find protective stone. I love Tibetan quartz. It's great for raising your vibration, but also grounds and protects you. So Tibetan quartz is another great crystal for empaths. Damburite is another great crystal, which actually connects you to the angelic realm, the upper realm. So that helps strengthen your connection to the light. Another great crystal for empaths would be smoky quartz, because it helps clear negative energy, transmutes negative energy, and brings protection to yourself and your space. But like I said, I feel like crystals are really good for the beginning of your journey, or when you're doing deep healings for yourself. But they're not necessarily once you really connect to the miracle field and source energy, which takes time, but it's definitely worth it. So this concludes my video on empaths and highly sensitive people. Basically, it's work, but it's worth it because it's a superpower. And with any superpower comes great responsibility. Yeah, something like that. So like I said, throughout this course, I'm going to be showing you how to heal yourself and empower yourself and strengthen yourself. Being an empath is not scary. It's a great gift to live with. I feel honored to be an empath. Not everyone can read people's minds and talk to people's spirits and shit. Just really start diving into that, especially if you're being affected mentally or emotionally. It's not something that you should be suffering with. It's a gift. It's truly a gift to be able to feel and work with spirit and energies and all that shit. It just takes work, and it's not a curse, y'all. It's a gift. It just takes work. So in my next class, I'm going to go live and answer some of your questions, and then I'm going to be doing a live journey to help you release energies, any energies that don't serve you or your highest good. We're going to be doing a very powerful journey to help you release, so that you can welcome energies that are empowering, energies that can help you manifest better, and all that good shit. So thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to donate, you can go to magickaugogo.com. That's magickaugogo.com, and you can donate there. I also have a free PDF at magickaugogo.com where you can download all this information and more, because I take a lot of notes, and it's basically my notes on the class. I'm Rannie Au GoGo. Take care.